Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Um, and thank you for those that watched us on Saturday morning. We got a lot of great feedback, so keep on liking and sharing us. This is the Sports Snobs. I'm Kaz, my co host, Pat. We wanted to come back on because we ran out of time the other day and wanted to give you some of our picks for the weekend for NFL football. So this week, what we're doing is we're going to give you three games that are common between us. We're going to kind of talk about them. And then each one of us is going to pick a game that we have an underdog that is 5 points or more that we think will cover. In the future, we're going to have a little bit of a contest. Pat and I are kind of talking about that right now and what the wager might be.
Friendly wager.
A little bit fun, a little friendly wager, drinking a beer out of a shoe.
Who
Um,
knows?
hey, or a shot or whatever else it might be.
Yeah.
Uh, so the first game we want to talk about, because again, this is going to be a quick little podcast. We're going to talk about Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Now, Pat, when I talked to you earlier, the line was Pittsburgh plus 3.5 at Baltimore. I just checked it.
I think it's four.
Actually, it's 4.5 now.
It's 4.5 now. Ooh, someone must have put a big wager on that.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on that game? Who would you take with Pittsburgh? Let's say 4. We'll split the difference.
Well, my thoughts are I don't know who's coming up with these lines or what inside information they may have on the Pittsburgh Steelers, whether it's somebody's out due to an injury or maybe there's some COVID news going on. Who knows? I don't know how that line for an undefeated team is plus 4.5. But I mean, as I said on our last episode, we briefly touched on the Steelers, and I think it's a no-brainer. I think the Steelers will win straight up, but to give 4 points, I'll easily take the Steelers. I'll take the 4 points, no problem. The only thing that sneaks into my mind is that the Ravens are coming off of a bye week, but I find it hard to go against the Steelers, undefeated, possibly the number one defense in the league. It's just, for me, that's a solid pick. I'm pretty confident in that. How about you?
I'm not going to lie. Going into this podcast, I was going to say I'm going to take Pittsburgh and the money line. But the fact that you said no brainer, guaranteed money,
It is guaranteed
I might
money.
throw a little bit money in DraftKings on Baltimore plus the 3.5 because nothing is guaranteed in betting, my friend. And knowing your luck, I was going to take. I mean, Pittsburgh is the money line is plus 175. I was going to take that, but now you guaranteeing an outright victory. Yeah, I'm rethinking my thoughts, but hey, one of us will win if we throw money out there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Don't overthink it.
Hey, I'm not overthinking it. I'm just playing odds, and your odds are not that good, my friend. That's
Sure.
all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, quick note on that. I mean, it's Ben Roethlisberger's first time facing off with Lamar Jackson, so I think it'll be a good game either way. Probably a low-scoring game, but this has field goal to win it at the, at double zeros. I don't know. It's if you want to go with the Ravens, then that's one game I have up on you for beer out of a shoe. So I'll take it. No problem.
The contest does not start till next week, and I have ideas. I have ideas for that, my friend. We'll talk about that.
The pre-contest.
This is to see who the favorite is when we get into the contest. All right.
Sure.
Then our listeners could put bets on who is going to win between you and I.
So yesterday didn't go well. Not to go off on a tangent here, but I know you had the Panthers +2, and I took the points at 51.5, and yeah, that was a dud. That was unfortunate.
That was an ugly game. Please don't bring it up. And of course, I dropped Curtis Samuel like hours before the game, and but neither here nor there. Again, we're picking on my fantasy team all the time. What's up with
Sorry,
that?
it's
Eh,
just common denominator here.
hey, when you're in the lead, everybody takes a shot at the winner.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
So next game we wanted to talk about was San Fran and Seattle, which is San Fran +3 at Seattle. Now I think the line would be a lot different if they allowed fans in the stands and we didn't have
Yeah,
COVID, because we all know the 12th man over in Seattle, they're going to cause a couple, um, you know, false starts. They're going to cause a couple penalties here and
yep.
there. So with Seattle playing as bad as they did last week, San Fran played pretty well. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it's going to be another good game, another divisional game. I'm looking back at the schedule. I'm trying to find some, stats to kind of help me through this one. These NFC West games are always tough to pick. I mean, perfect example being the Seahawks Cardinals game last Sunday. But here, so I'm looking back at their schedules. The signature win, the best win for the 49ers so far is the Rams. Divisional game. That's clearly their best win. They beat the Jets, they beat the Giants, they beat the Patriots. Normally you would say Patriots, but the Patriots are not who they have been in the past. The Seahawks lost their first game last week, but prior to that, they've just beaten up on terrible teams. The Falcons, the Cowboys, the Patriots, who it sounds weird to say it, but yes, I think they're in the terrible range after last week. So their best win is the Dolphins, and I don't know what to make of the Dolphins yet, but they're not winning these games by much. They're all one-score games. I want to believe in the Seahawks, but something tells me that the 49ers are going to find a way to pull this one off. Another close game. I think it's another one that probably comes down to the last play of the game. I'll take the 49ers, and I will take the 3 points.
So I agree with you that Seattle, their offense, they're great. Their offense is really good when Russell isn't throwing 3 interceptions. Um, but their defense is horrendous. They can't stop anybody. Um, so, but my question is does Garoppolo have enough weapons? Because they have injuries right now. So, who are you looking at as their number one? Ayuk, Brandon Ayuk as their number one wide receiver this week. That's not, you know, what Arizona had. Arizona had two great wide receivers going against them. Um, yeah, they have a running game. Mostart might be back. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything about that. But I'm actually going to take Seattle because it's at Seattle, even though there's no fans.
Okay.
Um, what I'm surprised about is the over under of 53 and a half. Like I said, Seattle doesn't have a defense, but San Fran does. Um, but Seattle can score. So, are you surprised that the over under is that high for this game, or do you think that's right in line?
I think it's fair. I mean, the 49ers, no, their offense isn't prolific by any means. And the Seahawks defense obviously is pretty bad. So I think this is just one of those games that it's kind of unpredictable as far as how much scoring is going to actually occur. I find it hard to believe that Russell Wilson will have another, 3 interception game. So I know the Seahawks are going to put up points, but I feel like the 49ers will kind of hang in there. Their number one is easily George Kittle, right? I mean, I know he's not a receiver, but I mean that's their go-to. And their running back by committee seems to work. Those screen passes, those little dump offs. I mean, there's a ton of yards after catch for this team. They find a way to just get the ball into the right player's hands at the right time. I'll find it hard to believe the Seahawks can cover those running backs out of the backfield, especially without Jamal Adams. And if he was playing, I mean, he's probably shadowing Kittle most of the game. So Yeah, I just think it's going to be. I think that's a fair line. I could see a like a you know a 27-24 type of game, something in that range. I think that's fair.
So you see a push in the +3.
Possibly. I'm just saying from the total points perspective, I could see the 53, right, is what you said?
Yes,
Yeah,
53 and a half.
I could see something like that happening, but hopefully no push. Hopefully 49ers if they're going to lose by 2.
Yeah, hopefully Russell Wilson goes off and my fantasy team, we won't have to talk bad about it next week. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
the last game that we highlighted to talk about today, at the time it was Dallas +9.5 at Philly. Um, right before we came on, I saw it was 10.5.
Yeah,
Um,
this thing's been on the rise all day long. I think it started at 9 today.
I mean that. That's a college football line. I mean, we won't get into the Jets in Kansas City where it's at 20.
Or will
Uh,
we? Will that be maybe that's my underdog pick. Who knows?
hey, all right, maybe we get there. Maybe we get there. Good luck to you on that one. Um, but so what are you thinking? Dallas plus, let's say 10. We'll split the difference like we did with Pittsburgh at Philly.
I have no stats to back this up. There's really not much thought I put into this besides the fact that the Cowboys are terrible and their defense is terrible. And the Eagles have played pretty competitive football with some of the better teams, for example, the Ravens and the Steelers. So I'm just going to keep it simple and just say I think the Eagles win. I think they win by 2 scores. Not a problem at all.
So you have no faith in DiNucci, the 7th round pick.
No, I don't have faith in Danucci. No,
No,
I don't. No,
no.
I do not.
He's not going to be the next Tom Brady, 7th round pick. I
No,
mean,
no.
at least this dude started. I mean, Brady didn't even start at Michigan, right? He was the backup.
Yeah, there's just no shot. There's no shot.
Huh?
You're a third string quarterback. I don't know. On Jerry's team, he didn't plan on spending much money or doing much work to sign a third string quarterback. And what do you know? Now you need to play him. So I would imagine this is going to get ugly pretty quick.
Are you surprised Dallas didn't sign a quarterback? Like, I know the hot topic in the NFL is Kaepernick, but are you surprised he didn't sign somebody to at least be the backup this week? Because you got DiNucci. Who's the backup this week?
It's a great question. I have no idea. I'd have to look that up to be honest with you. I don't know. But am I surprised that they didn't sign anybody, at least of significance that we've heard of? Not really. I think it goes back to your point last week, our discussion about whether or not the Cowboys would be tanking for Trevor. I think this is one of those ways that you can kind of get away with tanking without really putting it out there to your team that you are. I mean, they can see, okay, you're not giving us an actual, capable quarterback to play, or you're not giving us a backup or carrying one quarterback. I don't know what the specifics are there, so they can see that and say, okay, well, I mean, what are you really doing for us? Do you want us to lose? But it's kind of an indirect way of saying, all right, whatever happens, happens. If DiNucci goes off, then I look like a fool, and Jerry Jones looks like a genius, and he's probably also pretty angry at the same time if they end up winning this game. But no, I'm not really surprised. I think it's what are they going to do at this point? Besides Kaepernick, I mean, who else are you going out and getting? And we know the situation with Kaepernick. Especially for the Cowboys to make a move like that. I don't see that ever happening.
I mean, the Cowboys, they have dropped a couple defensive players. They're rumored to do a couple more.
And they're selling.
For my pick, it's easy. Philadelphia all day, every day.
Yeah.
The over-under is only 43. I'm actually going to take the under because I'm expecting Dallas to get maybe 7 points, maybe 10. I don't see Philly's offense as hurt as they are getting 30-something. So
yeah, I
I'm
agree.
going to Philly and under. But DiNucci, That sounds like a dude that lived next to you on Staten Island, no?
No, that was the pizzeria down the block, Danucci's.
Oh, gotcha. So now for your underdog, the 5 point plus underdog. Who do you got?
All
There
right.
weren't many choices this week. I'm not gonna lie.
No, they weren't great choice. This is a tough week to pick games in general. I think if you're into betting, a lot of tough games. There wasn't many underdogs to choose from, unless you wanted to choose the Giants or the Jets, which I will not be doing. So, the next best game that I saw on the schedule was the Titans, and I hope you didn't pick this game because that makes it kind of boring. You definitely did. Okay, that's lovely. I was gonna say Titans at the Bengals. Bengals getting 6.5. I just think the Titans coming off of a tough week playing the Steelers. It's a physical game. They're probably a little beat up. One of the more physical games or physical teams that they'll play all season. And the Titans are 2-4 this season against the spread. The Bengals are 5-2. So the Bengals don't win much, but they do cover.
They cover.
And the Titans have a bottom 5 hurry rate, and this ties into what we were talking about in our previous episode about Joe Burrow, in my opinion, being the lead candidate for Rookie of the Year, or at least showing more than Justin Herbert at this point, which we disagreed on. But the point being, Joe Burrow is constantly playing with pressure, constantly getting hit, and this is a game where I don't see him getting hit too much, and I think he'll be able to sit back there, throw the ball down the field. And it's probably going to be a high-scoring game, probably somewhere in the high 20s, low 30s. And I just think that the Bengals, if they don't win, it'll be something like last week where they're going back and forth. And I think that they will cover with the 6.5 points.
See,
now, I'm tempted to switch it because now I don't want to have the same pick as you.
No, it's fine. But I'm going to say that the one thing I'm going to disagree with is, yes, the Titans have the lowest hurry rate. They're not going to after this week. The Bengals line is that bad where I could probably get a hit on Burrow. That's how bad their line is.
I mean, he's been doing it all season, though. He's been playing better teams than the Titans, and he's getting beat up, but he's still throwing for 300 yards. So
yeah, no,
one of those games.
And that's why I see them covering the 6.5. I honestly think they'll be down double digits most of the game, but I see that garbage time.
Yeah, backdoor cover.
That field goal, getting that last second touchdown and prevent coverage to just kind of get within the window. But I don't see them having a chance to win it. But like you said, there weren't many underdogs that anybody could vote on this week, but we're going to come out with a good game. I have some ideas, Pat. I'll text them to you later. But anything you want to say to close out the show, Pat?
No, let's just say let's go 49ers, Steelers, Eagles, and Bengals.
Well, I just want to tell everybody that has watched the previous show, this show, we appreciate it. Like us, share us, follow us on social media. It's down there in the crawl. And next week we're going to try something a little bit different with the show. See how it goes. So, keep on giving us feedback. And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, and maybe bring on some guests. Who knows?
Hey, maybe.